Yes, students, so today we are going to discuss about growth of functions and that classifier notations that we already have discussed in the earlier class, that is big theta, big omega and big O. These three notations and their definitions we are going to discuss. These three notations and their definitions are very much important. Almost all the places, venues, you will be finding these questions from these notations. Okay, so you have to remember these notations and how these notations can be represented in terms of graphs. That also you have to remember, and you have to understand first of all. So as I said, that when we look at the input size, large input for the algorithm, for any algorithm, and that time only this asymptotic efficiency of the algorithm comes into the picture. Asymptotic efficiency. Okay, so as I told earlier, the asymptote here, that literal meaning of asymptote is not considered. This is the algorithmic language, algorithmic term. Meaning is that when input is large, that time only we consider this asymptotic term. Okay, now this asymptotic term can be normally these asymptotic notations and all this thing is applied in the domain of. So what is the domain? So domain is the set of natural numbers. Okay, set of natural numbers, okay. So set of natural numbers are what numbers? These are 0, 1, 2, like that. These are set of natural numbers. Okay, so these asymptotic notations are convenient for describing the worst case running time function Tn. Okay, we will discuss in other lecture why worst case running time is preferable than average case running time. So in average case running time, what happens? We average all the operations. Okay, so whatever average time comes, let us say 10 operations happened, and then 10 operation average time, let us say 2 microseconds or 2 milliseconds. So we assign for all operation 2 millisecond, 2 millisecond, 2 milliseconds. So that is not a good approach. Instead, we have to take the worst case running time. Worst case running time means extreme. Like let us say you are going to sort and a particular array using reverse order element as the input. So that's why asymptotic the worst case running time is preferable. So okay, worst case running time is also related to the exponential time. Okay, so and there is a problem with these asymptotic notations. Let me rub it. There is a problem with the asymptotic notations. There is a chance of abusing asymptotic notations. Okay, this you have to remember. There is a chance of abusing asymptotic notations. Now you can ask me why it is so. Notations. Okay, why it is so? Because asymptotic notations are applicable only to the natural numbers 0, 1, 2, 3 and until whatever. So these natural numbers can be abused. Let us see, if you say, sir, if it is applicable for imaginary number, no, it is not applicable. So there is a chance. If it is applicable for imaginary number, no, it is not applicable. So for example, the notation is easily extended to the domain of real numbers, just now I have said. So and restricted to the subset of natural numbers. So that is the range of asymptotic notations definition. Okay, we cannot go beyond that. So if you are coming with the imaginary number, then definitely it will be having a chance of abusing. Okay, now as I said that there are 3 ways we can represent these notations. So the first one, next let us go to the asymptotic notations. Okay, definition of one second. definition of asymptotic notations. So first definition we have is called, let us say, theta. Okay, so theta notations. So what is theta notations? So as usual, normally what happens, worst case running term, we write Tn equal to, let us say, Tn equal to O theta n square. Okay, used to write this. Okay, so let us define what is theta. Okay, so for theta, you have to understand one thing, that we cannot represent this theta function only by one function notation. We need two function notations or more than that. Okay, two functions or more than two functions we need. Okay, so this theta is not a single thing. Okay, it has to be represented in terms of some function. That is also another catch. So you cannot say only theta. Theta has to be represented in terms of other functions. So it's a game of functions only. Okay, so let us say for a given function gn, for a given function gn, okay, we denote by theta gn. So as I said, theta alone cannot do anything. Theta has to come alongside gn. Theta gn, the set of functions. So theta gn is a set of functions. Okay, what kind of function it is? So we can represent theta gn such that it can be represented in terms of fn, such that there exists positive constants C1, C2 and N0. That means three constants are there. This is N0, okay, N0. C1, C2, N0. So that means we are going to represent this Fn, okay. So theta gn is represented in terms of Fn. How Fn can be elaborated or Fn can be explained? Fn can be represented in terms of three constants which are nothing but C1, C2 and N0. In the last class, if you remember, that I told in the last that we need some constant to keep check the time complexity n square. Right? I need some constant to make a boundary or something like that, I told. So those boundaries can be written by this C1, or those boundaries can be made by this C1, C2 and N0. Okay, N0 such that remember very carefully, such that Fn means this function should be greater than equal to C1 gn less than equal to C2 gn, and this should be greater than 0 for all n greater than equal to n0. Now let us try to understand this thing in terms of a graph. Okay, let us try to understand this thing in terms of a graph. I'll go to the graph. I am again writing here theta notations. So what I said, I have a graph. Okay, so okay, one second, give me 1 second. Okay, so I have a graph, this graph. Okay, let me clear this graph a little bit. Okay, in this graph, this x-axis is nothing but the input. input n, okay. And y-axis will be the function, how it performs, the outcomes, okay. Y-axis is the outcome function. You can consider it as, let's say, time. Y-axis is time, okay. Y-axis is time, and this is mean y-axis will say you how this function behaves. So x-axis is the input, y-axis, let's say, time t. Let us and then this is your function fn. That means the function that you are the outcome of the algorithm fn. Now how you should say that is fn is having upper bound or lower bound. So in terms of theta notation, what it says that fn, there exists a positive constant c1 and there is another positive constant c2 and there is n0. So let's say, what is n0? Let's say n0 is out until this much. This is n0. This is n0, okay. n0 is the minimum threshold input. Minimum threshold input. That means we need some value n0, otherwise the calculation is not possible. N has to be, some minimum input should be there. It should not be trivial case. So from here onwards we will look at the graph. So this is your function got the that fn. Now whether this function is what is this upper bound and what is this lower bound and what are the situations. So as I said that we have theta notation expression, we have this c1, we have this c2 and we have this n0, these three constants. So you can assume that this is also a constant, okay. So c1 and c2 will be such that the gn function should be accommodated in the below of fn such that c1 into gn, that means the lower bound of fn should be c1 into gn and the upper bound of fn will be c2 into gn. If this is the situation we have, that means if you can represent fn in terms of, that means fn has been sandwiched between c1 gn and c2 gn, in that case we can call that it is theta of gn, okay. We can represent fn in terms of theta of gn. That means theta of gn is equal to fn. There exists positive constant. Which are the positive constants? c1, c2 and n0, and this c1 gn should be less than equal to fn. Fn should be less than equal to c2 gn, and this also having some positive values c1 gn. It should not go below the x-axis graph, okay. If this is the case, and let us done, and for all n should be greater than equal to n0. Here also minimum input I need, minimum input n0. If this is the case, then I can say that theta of gn, okay, theta of gn. So theta actually representing another function gn. Our function is fn, the algorithm function is fn, but it is represented in terms of theta gn. So this is the definition of theta notation. So theta notation is nothing, it is just the sandwich of upper bound and lower bound of any algorithm, okay. It's a sandwich of both upper bound and, or you can call it intersection of c1 and c2, c1 gn and c2 gn, okay. So this is the theta notation. Now let us see how the other notations are, okay. So next notation. So this is called these theta notations, we cannot say anything about it. We cannot say it's whether it is fully tight or it is a loose bound, we cannot say, okay. So next is we have notations O, big O. So next is O, notations O. It's called big O notations, okay. So what is this big O notation? These notations, if you see the graph, you can easily define its boundaries, okay. So again same thing, it is here, this is my fn, okay. Fn you can write big O of gn, okay. In the earlier case, I forgot to write one thing. In earlier case, we can write, if this is the case in theta, in the earlier case we can write, one second. In case of theta, when we have this fn here and we have this c1 into gn here, and when we have this c2 into gn in the top it is my input n. Okay, so this can be, you can write here Fn equal to theta of Gn directly, you can write. Okay, that I forgot to do, theta of Gn. Now let's go to the next one, which is big O. Okay, so big O notations is called big O. Okay, big O notations. In big O notations, how the diagram look like? So big O notations, basically it is called asymptotic upper bound. Okay, big O notations is called asymptotic upper bound. And okay, asymptotic upper bound. So you can also write here asymptotic upper bound. So this big O notation is not bother whether the algorithm is having lower bound or not. It's not, if algorithm is not having lower bound. In fact, in the definition there is no lower bound. We'll show that. Okay, so how this algorithm looks like? See, again one graph is there. Let's say this is my graph, which is my algorithm time Fn, and this big O notation says that you will be having a upper bound, which we call C into Gn. Only one constant, C into Gn, and in downward nothing is there. Okay, so there is no graph at the below. Same thing here, it's a minimum input threshold will be their input, and this is x-axis, which is n. So how to represent this? This representation is easy. How to represent? We'll again write here that big O of Gn is equal to Fn such that there exists positive constant C and n0 such that, see, Fn, this Fn is less than C into Gn, because C into Gn is the top, and then these Fn also should be greater than or equal to 0. There is no negative value consideration in all the cases. Okay, and then finally for all n greater than or equal to n0, because it has to be minimum value. If this is the case, then we can directly write here in this box, we can write it as Fn equal to big O of Gn. Okay, this is what we can write. So this is the definition of big O. It is called asymptotic upper bound, and I have shown you the graph. Okay, so no problem here from the graph. So what good thing you can do, you remember the graph, and from this graph itself you can generate this function, because this function generation is not tough, it is easy. So from this graph, once you write it, you can easily make this one. It's not a problem. Okay, have I missed anything? No, everything is okay for all n greater than or equal to 0, n0. So this is called big O notations. Okay, big O notations, very important, very important. Okay, next we are going to see the last one, which is called omega notations, which is called omega notation. So how omega looks like this, omega notation. So omega notation is called asymptotic lower bound. Lower bound. So here this omega never considered the upper bound, it's only asymptotic lower bound. So I will show you the graph, and you can easily form the this relation. Okay, function relationship. So this graph look like this. This is my function, let us say Fn. Okay, and then we have a constant which is C, and we have a function called G such that exists below this Cgn. Okay, it has a lower bound. So this is the lower bound, this is the lower bound. Okay, this is the lower bound, this one is the lower bound, and this is n. Now how to write it in terms of expression? So again we will write theta Gn, same thing. Gn participation is must. Okay, so we can call it big omega. Big omega. So theta Gn equal to f of n. This is our f of n, such that there exists positive constant C and n0. Obviously n0 I forgot, you have to put n0 also here. Minimum, that means input should be more than n0. If it is this side, means it won't work, because the visualization of the graph won't be proper. You have to go somewhat more. So C and n0, and such that what happens here, C into Gn is less than Fn. Okay, C into Gn is less than Fn, and C into Gn is also greater than 0, and for all n greater than equal to n0. This is what this omega notation, that means it's a lower bound definition of the lower bound. So this is the lower bound. This is the lower bound. Apart from this, we also have other two notations, which is called small o notation. So small notation is called so what happened, the asymptotic upper bound provided by big O notations may or may not be asymptotically tight. Remember that. So that big O notation that we have discussed, it may or may not be asymptotically tight. Okay, that means, but the bound we use small O notation to denote an upper bound that is not asymptotically tight. So small O notation is you can call loose upper bound, you can call it. Okay, or not tight, not loose, not tight. Okay, this is called small O notations, and there is another notation which is called small omega notations. Small omega, it's like W, small omega notation. Small omega notation. Okay, what is small omega notations? Small omega notation is that omega notation we have as O notations to O. That means the mapping, whatever. That means it is not asymptotically tight. See, this is also not asymptotically tight. Not tight. Small omega. Okay. So this is all about the classified notations, upper bound, lower bound, and the intersection, and asymptotically tight and asymptotically loose notations. Okay, so small O notations, small omega notations. I think we have discussed the basic fundamental thing. Only thing is, it is better that you can remember the function. You can remember the graph, so that you can develop the function. No need of mugging up the function. Okay. Okay, I will now ask any question is there.